So before we start reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is the appearance of Madhavendra Puri and Parameshwari, or Parameshwar Das Thakur, and also Radha Raman, the deity. Srinivasacharya. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'll read about Madhavendra Puri first. Before Lord Chaitanya appeared, he sent his eternal associates like Sri Advaitacharya, Sri Jagannath Mishra, Shachimata, Madhavendra Puri, Ishvara Puri to earth. Sri Madhavendra Puri took initiation from Sri Lakshmi Patitirtha in the Madhvacharya Sampradaya. He had many, but Sri Advaitacharya, there's no disciples in this sentence. All right, good. We need you to edit this book too. He had many disciples, but Sri Advaitacharya, and there's probably a lot of books you could edit out there, Jivita Prabhu.
Send them all my way.
Send them.
No problem.
Yeah, there's limited time. You have your main books, right? He had many disciples, but Sri Advaitacharya and Sri Ishvara Puri were the chief disciples of Madhavendra Puri. In one way or another, all the Vaishnavas of Bengal and Chaitanya Mandala Jagannath Puri were connected with Sri Madhavendra Puri. After Lord Chaitanya came, many of his disciples joined Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement. So this is from Vrindavan Das Thakur, quote, Madhavendra Puri's body was completely full of divine love. So were his followers. He displayed uncommon love of God. Seeing a dark blue rain cloud, he would fall down unconscious. Day and night he was intoxicated from drinking the ambrosia of Krishna Prem. So why would he, when he saw the cloud?
Maybe he's like
Because Krishna, you'd think of Krishna. And fall down unconscious. After making an extensive pilgrimage of Bharat to Bhumi, India, he passed his life in Vrindavan and Orissa. He began the restoration work of Vrindavan that Sri Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis continued later. Wandering from grove to grove, remembering Radha Krishna's sweet Vrindavan pastimes, Madhavendra Puri would faint in ecstasy. In a dream, Sri Gopal ordered Madhavendra Puri to uncover a buried Gopal deity and install him atop Govardhan Hill. Madhavendra Puri celebrated Gopal's installation with an anukut, grand festival offering a mountain of foodstuffs to Krishna. This anukut festival, also called Govardhan Puja, is one of the most important Vaishnava festivals in Vrindavan, in India and around the world. The original Gopal deity, known as Sri Nathji, is now worshipped in Nathdwara, Rajasthan. Madhavendra Puri introduced the conception of Madhurya Bhav, conjugal love, in the Madhvacharya Sampradaya. Madhavendra Puri sowed the seed of Prema Bhakti, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became the towering tree dropping honey-sweet fruits of Prema upon everyone. He also revealed Viraha Bhav, the mood of love, relish, and separation from God. His branch of the Madhva sect distinguished itself by the ecstatic love of God. By this ecstatic love of God, it is known as the Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. In Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed an intense mood of Viraha Bhav. This increased unlimitedly when the Lord heard verses from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, Krishna Karnamrita Gita Govinda Padyavali, and the love poems of Chandidas and Vidyapati. Mahaprabhu's Viraha begins with a single verse spoken by Madhavendra Puri, his Param Guru, Grand Preceptor. Ai dina dayadranata he maturanata Kadavalokase. Yeah, there's no diacritics in here either. Hridayam twadaloka kataram daiti brahmyati kim karotyaham. O compassionate Lord of the poor and humble, O Lord of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Without seeing you, my heart has become very much afflicted. O my beloved, I am overwhelmed. What shall I do now? So Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 4:197. Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says that as the diamond Kaustuba jewel is the most precious among all rare, valuable jewels, this shloka is the Rasa Kavya, the best verse in the entire treasury of rasa poetry. Actually, this verse was spoken by Srimati Radharani herself. It was Radha's pathetic cry to Shyamasundar, who had gone to Mathura, leaving her alone, desperate in Vrindavan. Radharani's mercy brought this same verse from the mouth of Madhavendra Puri. Reciting even a few words of this shloka would tear open the door of Mahaprabhu's ecstatic love, making him swoon in ecstasy, falling unconscious. Feeling intense separation from Krishna, Madhavendra Puri constantly chanted this verse when departing this world. Krishnadas Kaviraj says that with this verse, Madhavendra Puri teaches devotees how to achieve Krishna prema by cultivating intense feelings of separation from Sri Krishna. Gaudiya Vaishnavas accept that this verse expresses the essence of the mood of separation. The Gaudiya Sampradaya teaches that worship of Radha and Krishna in separation represents the highest level of devotional service. At this stage of realization, the devotee feels completely vacant in the world in the absence of Krishna. A moment without Madhava feels like a millennium. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always swam in the ocean of the maddened, ecstatic emotion shown by Sri Radha in Brahma Gita, srimadbhagavatam 10:47. In this verse, Madhavendra Puri discloses similar emotions. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas conclude that the monsoon shower of ecstatic love exhibited by Lord Gauranga during his manifest pastimes began with Madhavendra Puri. It then came through Ishvara Puri, who played the role of Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master. Madhavendra Puri's samadhi is in Rimenu, Orissa, near the temple of Chor Gopinath. All right. Yeah, I could do that by Krishna's mercy. O compassionate Lord of the poor and humble, O Lord of Mathura, when shall I see you again? Without seeing you, my heart has become very much afflicted. O my beloved, I am overwhelmed. What shall I do now? You're welcome.
You don't feel like that if God's a burning bush. Color of light.
Yeah. All right, so we could read about Srinivasacharya. In this book, Javeda Prabhu, it says Parameshvara Das, but yeah, it's the same person. Okay, so we'll just read about Parameshvara Das. This is shorter. Parameshvara Das was completely surrendered to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda. He was the Lord's constant companion. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj says that anyone who remembers his name, Parameshvara Das, will easily attain love of Krishna. Parameshvara Das also humbly served Sri Janavamata. He accompanied the deity of Radharani that Janavamata sent to Vrindavan for Govindaji. In Krishna Leela, Parameshvara Das is one of the Dvadasa Gopals named Arjun. All right, this is Srinivasacharya. After witnessing Lord Gauranga's sannyas ceremony at Katwa, Chaitanya Das and his pregnant wife visited Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri. Soon your wife will give birth to a son named Srinivas, said Lord Chaitanya. And through Srinivas, all the bhakti shastras of Rupa and Sanatan will be distributed. When his father left this world, Srinivas visited the remaining associates of Lord Gauranga in Katwa, Navadvip, Jagannath, and Jagannath Puri. They blessed Srinivas and gave him valuable instructions for spiritual advancement. Seeing his absorption in Gauranga Prem, they knew he was an embodiment of Gaura Shakti, the energy of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. He came to Vrindavan, toured the 12 forests, and took Diksha from Gopal Bhatta Goswami. which we'll read about next, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So, Sri Jiva Goswami taught him the complete philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Acknowledging his vast learning, Sri Jiva gave Srinivas the title Acharya. Accepting Sri Jiva's order, Srinivas and his two friends, Shamananda Prabhu and Narottam Das Thakur, good friends to have, transcendental, pioneered the first transcendental book distribution party, which apparently, I remember, I don't know who sent it out recently, some email some time ago, but there were some book scores. I don't know if anybody remembers that, from this party.
The thing is,
It was
fake news.
it was fake news.
I
Oh,
thought it was fantastic, but I checked it out.
fake news, huh? Well, it was still
It's fun.
amusing at the time. Fun.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
Oh,
That's not
I can't believe that.
true. Yes. Sorry.
What a big letdown. Anyways, okay. So much for that. All right, I'll take that. I
felt the same way.
I take that back. Okay. But they did have the first transcendental book distribution party. Vrajbasi Sankirtan Party Ki Jai. They took a bullock cart of the Goswami's devotional writings, now devotees take sprinter vans, from Vrindavan and passed them out all over Bengal and Orissa. Srinivas Acharya initiated many disciples, Ramchandra, Kaviraj, and others, wrote songs full of bhakti. He wrote the Sad Goswami Ashtakam, famous song Srila Prabhupada sang many times, and introduced a special kirtan style. When leading kirtan, he would sometimes lose his voice from chanting so long. Besides his external activities of preaching and writing, Srinivas Acharya practiced intensive Raganuga Bhajan. Raganuga Bhajan is a spontaneous internal worship of Radha and Krishna based on the mood and sentiments of the eternal residents of Sri Vrindavan Dham, such as the gopis. While doing Manasi Seva, service to Radha Krishna within one's mind in a mentally conceived spiritual form, he would often bring tangible paraphernalia from these meditations back with him upon returning to external consciousness. Good proof. Once Srinivas sat Lord Gauranga on a jeweled throne within his mind. And then he worshipped the Lord with a golden-handled chamara whisk and a 5-flower garland. Pleased with his service, Lord Chaitanya Gaura Roy offered the garland back to Srinivas, who then immediately awoke and lost the meditation. A surprised Srinivas found the sweetest flower garland he ever smelled hanging around his neck when he returned to external consciousness. Another time, Srinivas was in his Siddhasrupa as Mani Manjari, watching Srimati Radharani, Sri Krishna, the gopis, and Holy Leela, joyfully throwing colored powders and dyes on each other. The gopis told Mani Manjari to supply colors to Radhika and side with them in their war against Sham, Krishna. The earth shook from this furious battle. Srinivas' meditation abruptly broke. His body was completely covered from head to toe with fragrant and exotic rainbow-colored powders imported from the spiritual world. And it says, Srinivas Acharya Samadhi is in Deer Samira Samadhi's area. So it's Holy Leela Ki Jai. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They were also robbed. The books were stolen. There's a whole.
Yeah, there's that whole pastime.
Not easy to do.
The distribution was they came back down to Bengal, so they did all the copies back to everything. Like the Russian distribution.
Yeah. Yeah. Writing all the. All right, so we'll just read about Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and specifically about Radharaman, the deity. I don't think it's interesting enough. I don't think it's in this. Yeah. Yeah, the devotees may be filling some details, but so all the Goswamis, they had different deities, and Radha Krishna deities and different. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he had Shilas. So Shilas, you can't dress a Shila. Like we have our Shila. I mean, we have Govardhan Shila. You could put a nice turban on, and then we have specifically our Shila to the left. When we're looking, it's a you can't put a turban. You can't hardly put a necklace. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami, in his mind, he was thinking, oh, I'd really like a deity that I could dress. But then he started feeling bad about it, like, oh, I'm lacking appreciation for my Shilas, and he just felt this is a wrong desire. I'm not being grateful for my Shilas. Yes. Oh, he's been given some clothing. Yeah. So then what happened? Apparently, the next morning or next day, he opened up his box. Okay, he had a dream. Okay, yeah, I know you. Okay. Yes, please do.
One of his Shilas had turned into a beautiful deity of Krishna, and he was thinking, even in my sleep, I'm not satisfied. During the daytime, I'm thinking I've got this cloth. What to do? And at night, so he felt horrible.
You want to give him that mic, Jamal?
Yeah, we got some.
Quickly? No, it's still going. It's still.
Here's a novel concept. Plan ahead. Anyway, so he went to see Sanatana Goswami and confessed. He said, what to do, on daytime I'm not satisfied, at night I'm dreaming. What to do? Sanatana Goswami said, Prabhupada telling it. Hare Krishna. Sanatana Goswami said, well, go take your bath, open the box, maybe it happened. So he went, took his bath, and the Jamuna came back, opened the box, and there was a beautiful Krishna deity.
Yeah.
And then the way Prabhupada told it, and then you can fill in whatever details are there.
No, you.
Then the way Prabhupada told it, he said that, and if you go to the Radharaman temple, you'll see they've got beautiful, he's absolutely gorgeous, and then self-manifest. And Prabhupada said on his back, if you see his back, which they rarely show, you can see a little bit of the stone is still there, just to confirm the little, But they have the beautiful, he's standing there, Radharaman, and then next to him they have another Shila with all the clothes for Radharani, for her. And the way Prabhupada told it, Prabhupada said, just as one of the Shilas turned into Radharaman, they're hoping that one of the other Shilas will turn into Radharani. And then Prabhupada said, they're very patient. They've been waiting 500 years,
Yeah, the deity is like what? About this big, very small deity. Yeah. Yeah. You have some?
We continue the class, but I haven't met some nice pictures around.
Okay. Yeah.
Worship is we should learn from them how they're worshiping the deity, and they have all the different festivals, different seasons. For the different seasons of the year, they offer different incense, they offer different dress, they offer all kinds of specific bhajans. I mean, they've really got it refined.
Nice.
And one family will do the worship for a month, and then will shift to another family. And the other families will sample the prasadam. If we taste that prasadam, it's absolutely ambrosial. And they're saying, oh, Goswami, too much salt, and too much, they like really critique it to a very high standard. I didn't know that.
And one thing that's amazing, as various as these pictures, you see little teeth. You see that in none of these.
Sometimes you can see
Yeah, because the deity is so small. Apparently, at one point, some fanatical, violent Muslims were coming and harassing Vaishnavas and destroying temples and so on. So a lot of the deities had to be taken out of Vrindavan, but because Radharaman was so small, they kept him there. Hit him. And yeah, I went, but Bhajanarayan Swami very intelligently, I was there in Vrindavan, I happened to be there at the same time he was there, and we went there, and Maharaj had some binoculars, because there's a big crowd of people, and even when you get close up on the altar, it's still quite difficult he's difficult to see, because, it's so small. But Maharaj had some binoculars, so that was nice. Thank you.
They do all kinds of things, like behind his, in holy, we were talking about throwing the colored powder. So sometimes they mix it in water and there's like a spray gun, squirt gun, but it's with a syringe actually. And so I was standing there taking notes, and I was shot with a red. How did that happen? So one of the pujaris sometimes hides behind his throne and will shoot you. The whole place is far out.
That's pretty funny. All right. Radharaman ki jai. So we'll just read from the Bhagavatam now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right, so we are reading from Srimadbhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 12. Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. We're on text 33. And Mukunda, he actually prepared for 34, so he gave a class on 34 on, when was that? Thursday. So yeah, so...
I hope this isn't heresy, but given the short time, why don't you skip the Sanskrit and read the translation?
Okay, alright. So Maharaj will give on 35 tomorrow, hopefully. Devamrita Swami. Okay, so here's the translation in English. The great associates of Vaikuntha Loka, Nanda and Sunanda, could understand the mind of Dhruva Maharaj, and thus they showed him that his mother Suniti was going forward in another plane. Purport. This incident proves that the Shiksha or Diksha Guru, who has a disciple who strongly executes devotional service like Dhruva Maharaj, can be carried by the disciple even though the instructor is not as advanced. Although Suniti was an instructor to Dhruva Maharaj, she could not go to the forest because she was a woman. Nor could she execute austerities and penances as Dhruva Maharaj did. Still, Dhruva Maharaj was able to take his mother with him. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj also delivered his atheistic father, Hiranyakashipu. The conclusion is that a disciple or an offspring who is a very strong devotee can carry with him to Vaikuntha Loka either his father, mother, or Shiksha or Diksha Guru. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, if I could perfectly deliver even one soul back to Godhead, I would think my mission, propagating Krishna consciousness, to be successful. The Krishna consciousness movement is spreading now all over the world, and sometimes I think that even though I am crippled in many ways, Prabhupada speaking, even though I'm crippled in many ways, if one of my disciples becomes as strong as Dhruva Maharaj, then he will be able to carry me with him to Vaikuntha Loka. Om Ganatamadandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshudhanamaditamnina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Guravachalam Pangam Langate Girim Yakripatamaham Vande Shri Gurunditanam Vancha Kapadubhishcha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gauda Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, so they have a saying that, which is a common saying. They say that the path to hell is paved with good intentions, which is it's quite an intense saying, because sometimes people think, oh well, as long as I have good intentions, then it's good. You know, I'm doing something good, and yeah, I just have to have these good intentions. But actually that's not enough. Because again, the path of hell is paved with good intentions, means the whole way to hell the whole thing is paved with good intentions. So therefore we need a guru. We need a Shiksha guru, we need Diksha guru. We need gurus, we need devotees to guide us, we need knowledge. It's just not good enough to have good intentions. And therefore, therefore the principle of gurus there. And I was just thinking, because it was Hiranyakashipu, Nrsingadev, Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj, whole pastime yesterday, and it was mentioned here also. But, I don't know, maybe devotees heard this, but there was one devotee, he's actually the temple president in Salem, South India. His name's Gokul Chandra. Very nice, jolly devotee, brahmachari there. So he said when he first started becoming a devotee, he saw this picture that was here yesterday, because there was a few pictures here of the pastimes of Lord Nrsimha. So he saw a picture, and the picture was of, very kind of large, big, Nrsingadev, with his nails, and then he's fighting Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyakashipu's quite smaller than him, and he's bluish. That's how he's depicted in this picture. So then they're fighting. And this devotee, he thought, he thought that Hiranyakashipu was Krishna. And he thought that Nrsingadev was like the bad guy or something. And then they were fighting. So what he started to do is he was offering his food to this picture, and he was offering it to Hiranyakashipu. And he was taking Hiranyakashipu prasad, So I thought that was... Prabhupada says that also. I wasn't going to mention this, but there's a similar point. Prabhupada says this about the followers of Kali, of Durga. He says, they offer all this meat to Kali, to Durga, but the thing is, she, as a traditional Vedic wife, she just takes the remnants of Lord Shiva, of her husband, whatever he eats. And Lord Shiva, he's the greatest Vaishnava. He doesn't eat meat. He's vegetarian, obviously. So what the followers of Kali, they think they're getting the Kali prasad, but what Prabhupada says in a purport in the Bhagavatam, that Shiva's followers, all the ghosts and goblins and all this, they eat that, and that the Kali followers, they're actually eating that, the prasad of the, it's horrible, remnants, yeah. So. That's talk about getting cheated, huh? Anyways, they're cheating themselves, I guess. But what I was going to say in relation to this Hiranyakashipu and this prasad and all that there was one bhakta. I won't say who it is, but we were in Vrindavan, and we were at I think it was Sanatana Goswami's his samadhi there. On the hill? Yeah. Yeah, his samadhi there. So we were there, and what you do there is you circumambulate, you get purified, you're offering respects, you offer your dandavats, offer prayers and all that. And then this bhakta, we're walking, so we're both together, just me and him, we're walking. And then he sees this little piece of chapati on the ground. And then he picks it up, and then he eats it. I tried to move his face. So then he told me, he said, "Oh, this must have been, the remnants of some great Vaishnava, some great devotee, That's what he said. So, but what he didn't know, because before, he did this really quick, like I couldn't stop him, he just saw it and just, But what I saw, which he didn't see, was that just a moment before, a monkey had that, and it, was eating, and it fell on the ground, Anyways. The glories of, interesting. So yeah, you have these cases. You have this they have this bhakta, eating the chapati from the monkey. You could say, okay, he's resident Vrindavan, the monkey. And you have this other new devotee, offering his food to Hiranyakashipu, and so on. So you could say that there's some good intentions there, but maybe clearly some lack of knowledge and experience, and therefore one needs a guru to guide them. And Srila Prabhupada he put a lot of stress on this idea of a spiritual master. And, for example, in every temple all over the world, every morning, for devotees who attend the morning program, every morning there's a song that's sang about the spiritual master every morning, right? That's the beginning. And specifically at 4:30 a.m., the one glorifying. And then also we have Guru Puja to Prabhupada all over the world. So there's a lot of stress given to the spiritual master, and yeah, that's important again because we need guidance. And Srila Prabhupada also felt that he needed guidance, and he needed protection, and he needed the mercy of his spiritual master. And he would say all the time, I haven't done anything special, I've just repeated the instructions of my spiritual master. I didn't change anything, I just repeated. And he would always give all credit to him, actually. So this idea, and Prabhupada's mentioning this idea here in the purport. He's saying that sometimes I think, even though I am crippled in many ways, if one of my disciples becomes a stronger Dhruva Maharaj, they could take me back to Godhead as well. So Srila Prabhupada's saying that. So that's how a devotee actually feels. They feel themselves crippled to do something, to do devotional service, and to do anything actually useful. And therefore there's that prayer that sometimes is chanted before class or other times. Mukam Karidvacha. By the mercy of the spiritual master, a blind person could see, a lame person could cross the mountains, a foolish or a dumb person can speak eloquent words. Yeah, a dumb person can speak eloquent words. So all by the mercy of the spiritual master. So in other words, the empowerment of one's spiritual master can make things happen, and they do make things happen. That's actually how actually everything's happening. My spiritual master, he said he got a letter from Prabhupada, and apparently what happened is my spiritual master, he was making life members and collecting to build the big Bombay temple. And then he had this idea that maybe if he travels to South Africa, to Mauritius, and it said he even came out to Southern California, and he was collecting donations for this temple. So then Prabhupada mentioned it to some devotees in a conversation. Oh, our Giriraj is out collecting, but why didn't he just stay in Bombay? And does he really think he's going to be making more collecting around the world? But still, Prabhupada let him do that. He let him, go on with his idea. So then later, my spiritual master met with Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada asked him, so do you think, did you collect, how much was your collection, going all the world versus you just staying in Bombay? Would it be the same? And then my spiritual master said, yes, it would be the same, more or less. And then, whether it was in a letter or in person, Srila Prabhupada told him, he said, actually, you have to understand that everything is going on by my intelligence alone. That's what he said. It's quite interesting. So yeah, this idea of taking guidance and understanding and realizing that it is by the mercy of our spiritual master that things happen is very important in Krishna consciousness, and also to be in the mood that no one could really, like, for example, Mukunda Goswami, he wrote this, actually he had this exchange with Srila Prabhupada in the early days when Prabhupada was ill, and the devotees were taking care of Prabhupada in Stinson Beach, California, in 1967 in the summer. And Prabhupada would sometimes mention to his disciples, I'm an old man, I could leave at any time. Now the movement is in your hands. And at one point he went back to India. So devotees weren't really sure if he was going to leave or not. So in their minds, some of the devotees were thinking, okay, well, if Prabhupada leaves, who's going to guide us? I mean, we're all young neophytes, and young in Krishna. Who's going to guide us? So then the devotees were pushing Mukunda, at the time, Mukunda Das, to go and speak with Prabhupada and ask him this question, that, Prabhupada, when you leave, who is going to guide us? Who's going to train us? Who's going to carry on? So, so here I'll just read. So this is Mukunda Goswami's offering, because he explains it really nice. I mean, he was there. He explained it the best. So here it is. Suddenly I found myself alone in the room with you. He's talking. When you die, I asked, who would take over the movement, your work, our training and education? I think that the notion of becoming a spiritual orphan had crossed my mind. Your answer did not come forth quickly. After what seemed several minutes of silence, you almost distractedly uttered the name of one of your godbrothers. Because you didn't look decisive, I expected you to say more. I would have gladly accepted any recommendation, but you didn't seem satisfied with your answer. Finally, you said, actually, it is an insult to the spiritual master. If I could have so this is Mukunda Goswami remembering. If I could have manifested anima siddhi at that point, I would have instantly shrunk into the carpet. So that means, you become smaller than the smallest. Anima siddhi. Another long silence, and you were looking wistful this time, apparently miles away from the house we were in, from Stinson Beach. From America, from our planet, I knew I had committed some kind of offense, but I didn't know what it was. I had absolutely no intention of insulting you, but I had done it anyway, and I knew that ignorance would be no excuse. I had done something wrong. I was going to pay for it. What was a spiritual master anyway? I was going to have to find out the hard way. I was preparing for the worst, a rebuke, a stern lesson, an explanation of why my seemingly innocent question had taken on the contours of an offense. Then you closed your eyes. I waited and watched and waited. Your next response was completely unexpected and astonishing. Though you didn't open your eyes, change your expression, or say a word, a shallow stream of tears appeared below each of your lotus eyes. You sat perfectly still. Slowly you wiped away the tears which had gathered into little puddles, covering both cheeks. Then you gasped, "My spiritual master." More was coming, but again you were quiet, as if to regain composure. This time you seemed to be crying. He was no ordinary spiritual master. After another long pause, you said in a choked voice, "He saved me." I too was emotionally overwhelmed, almost crying myself to even apologize for what I knew then was a grave error. Error. Maybe I muttered something about being sorry. I should have. I can't remember, but I really wish I could have just vanished into the woodwork or turned back the clock and started over. Now the answer was crystal clear. It couldn't have been more obvious. You weren't just telling me, you were showing me, imparting a lesson I would and could never forget. It was a lesson told by the spiritual emotions of a pure devotee. Vani was greater than Vapu. Words I then did not know. Instructions greater than the physical association. How could it have been said more poignantly? What I had never known was brought home in a way words alone could never express. You were no ordinary spiritual master. Not only were you saving me, but you were saving countless others. You were teaching by practice, not precept. How brilliant. How wonderful. In this one incident, I learned volumes about a spiritual master. I learned that the spiritual master does not die with the passing of the physical body, that you must love the spiritual master unconditionally, that the love for the spiritual master means loyalty and obedience first, that there could be no other shelter than you, that you were no ordinary spiritual master. You started a movement that would save not only me, but the whole world as well. So yeah, the idea is that one of the ideas is that no one could replace Srila Prabhupada, and still no one can. And whether one's a Prabhupada disciple or whether one is a grand disciple of Prabhupada and has their own spiritual master, the loyalty to the spiritual masters of the utmost importance, and this idea of being grateful, because obviously Srila Prabhupada is expressing his gratitude to his spiritual master. So similarly, we should have similar moods towards our spiritual master, or towards, whether it's Prabhupada or we're grand disciples, we should have it to our spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada. And in this way, we could have a proper relationship, a healthy relationship with one spiritual master, and also be able to do something of some value with our lives and hopefully inspire some people as well. So, all right, does anyone have any? Yes, Bhajana and so on.
I just want to mention the two sutras from Vaisheshika.
Yeah.
This principle of gratitude. And gratitude just doesn't mean, thanks a lot, see you later. Gratitude means that you want to serve, you want to reciprocate. There's a, action, reaction, ongoing relationship. So the attitude of gratitude, that's his. And he said, anyone who's not grateful is a great fool.
Yeah.
I thought those were nice.
I thought there was some, anyone who's not grateful is a great fool. And then the attitude of gratitude, yeah. I remember Tirthamaj told this story, I think it's from Mahabharata or something about, like, ingrates. Something that, I don't know, I guess I have to try to see where that's from. But, yeah, something about just how ingrates are like the worst of worst. They're like the worst of the bunch. Like, you could be this, you could be that, you could be so many things, but nothing worse than an ingrate. Like, even so something like that. There's just about. So, all right, does anyone have any other comments or questions?
There's a whole section in Google.
There it is. It's coming. The oracle, the ultimate guru. There's a whole section of attitude and gratitude quotes. So that has become a subject, has become a headline.
Says you can never repay the person who teaches you even one letter.
What to speak of? Krishna consciousness. All right. Grantaraj, Srimad. Yes, you have some.
Disappearance day was it?
The disappearance day of Srinivasacharya? Who was it?
If you remember his name, you get love of God.
Oh, Parameshwari Das Thakur. Okay. Parameshwari Das Thakur.
Parameshwar Das, sometimes known as Parameshwari Das. So that's
Oh, okay. Parameshwari Das. Okay. All right, so we'll get Love of Godhead soon then, huh? Hopefully. All right. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai.